Good evening, everyone. I'd like to go ahead and call our October Planning Commission meeting to order. Let's start with a roll call. Ms. Delencia Hervey.
Present.
Ms. Ray Williams.
Present.
Ms. Rebecca Fincher.
Present.
Brooks isn't going to be here this evening. I did receive an email from him. Mr. Gaynor. Not here. Mr. Ingram.
Present.
Thank you. Ms. Letitia Sanders-Jones.
Present.
Hello there. Mr. Townsend.
Present.
And Ms. Tucker.
I'm here.
And Drew just signed on, so we definitely have a quorum.
Hello.
Hello there. Okay, before we get down to business, I'd like to state that the Conway Planning Commission makes recommendations to the City Council on public hearing items. Items reviewed on this agenda will be considered by the City Council as early as October 27th, 2020. Items not approved by the Planning Commission this evening may be appealed to the City Council within 30 days of Planning Commission denial, with the exception of decisions made by the Planning Commission acting as the Board of Adjustment or Board of Zoning Adjustment. If an item appealed to the City Council is appealed, and the City Council will place a public notice will be placed on the property and at conwayarkansas.gov. Now, before we get to our public hearing items tonight, we're going to start with our subdivision committee items, of which we have two. The first of which being a request for preliminary plat approval of Kavanaugh Place subdivision. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just jumping right ahead. I'm in a hurry. Yeah, let's go backwards. Let's go to our September 21st minutes from last month. Commissioners, any corrections, amendments, questions?
Approve.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion from Ann and a second from Ray. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? All right, minutes approved. Now, let's get down to business. So let's jump into subdivision item 1A, request for preliminary plat approval of Kavanaugh Place subdivision.
Okay. The applicant is requesting the preliminary plat approval of a 37-lot subdivision that's located approximately 300 feet east of the intersection of South Donaghy Avenue and Favre Lane. The property is zoned MF2 and R1. The proposed lots in the development range in size from 6,200 square feet to 12,000 square feet. Each of the lot sizes are consistent with the lot requirements for their respective zoning districts. The development is actually planned to be phased, with phase 1 consisting of lots 1 through 33, and phase 2 will be the remaining 12 lots. The development of the second phase will be contingent upon development of adjacent property to the west. This will provide the required second access for single-family developments that are larger than or greater than 30 lots. That process has been started, so that is coming. The development will be accessed initially by a new street originating from Favre Lane and an internal street network, all of which will require a 5-foot sidewalk with a 6.5-foot green space. No waivers have been included as a part of this request. However, a zoning variance will be needed prior to the filing of the final plat, which will allow reduced lot depth and a minor reduction in building setbacks for lots 24 through 25 that's on one of the cul-de-sacs. The applicant has applied for this variance, and it will be presented as part of the November Planning Commission agenda. Staff recommends approval of the preliminary plat contingent upon the completion of the amended punch list and the conditions of approval.
Thank you, Beth. Commissioners, any questions for Beth? Okay.
So the applicant is aware of all the conditions?
Believe so. I don't know that we have anyone on to represent. the
Yes.
applicant.
Yes, this is Bobby French. I'm here in this family. Yes, we're aware of it. We've been working with Levi on this project. We tabled it last month to kind of work out a few things. So yes, we're very aware of what the conditions are.
Okay, thank you. So I make a motion that we approve this preliminary plat approval for Kavanaugh Place subdivision with the conditions and the punch list that's been required.
I'll second it.
Thank you. I've got a motion from Ray and a second from Ann. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. We'll move into our second subdivision item this evening, which is a request for waiver for Wallace subdivision.
Okay, for this one, the applicant is requesting a final plat approval of a 2.4 acre lot. It's approximately 1,200 feet west of the intersection of East Sherman Lane and Sutherland Road, and it sits directly behind 18 Sutherland Road. The property is zoned A1, and the lot size is consistent with the lot requirements of the zoning district. However, the lot does not have any street frontage. This is the result of a plat that was filed in 2002, which failed to include this property and effectively left it landlocked. The property is accessed via a 25-foot road easement through the adjoining Lot 3 of the Jackson Square subdivision. The applicant has requested a waiver from the subdivision regulations to allow the creation of a lot which does not abut a public street. Staff recommends approval of the preliminary, or rather the final plat, contingent upon the completion of the amended punch list and the conditions of approval.
Okay. Does that make sense to everyone?
So are they going to request a zoning change as well?
They don't need to. The lot actually is a minimum of 1 acre, and that meets the lot size requirements for A1. The only reason this is coming before you is it's a minor sub, but because there's a waiver requested to the subdivision regulations, that requires planning commission action.
Okay, thank you.
I believe, so this isn't public hearing, but do we have an applicant on the line that would like to add anything? Okie dokie. Commissioners, any final discussion? Doesn't sound like we have any. We'd like to entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve. It's Rebecca.
I'll second. It's Arthur.
Thank you very much. We have a motion on the floor from Rebecca and a second from Arthur. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion also passes unanimously. Now we will move into our public hearing items for this evening. The first of which is a request for conditional use permit for firearm sales. Bear with me, that's at TJ Zone for property located at 286 Highway 65 North.
Yes, so the applicant is seeking a conditional use permit to allow a gunsmith shop in the TJ zone at 286 Highway 65 North. Currently, this site is developed with a 5,032 square foot metal building, and currently the applicant operates a motorcycle showroom and service garage there. The addition of the firearm sales business at this location would have minimal impact on traffic. Though the site is located outside the city limits, it is located within the area identified as the TJ zone, and it's in this zone where only residential uses are permitted by right, so they require the conditional use permit. The site is located on a major thoroughfare and is bound on all sides by existing non-residential uses and vacant land. Planning staff recommends approval of the request with the following conditions, and I need to correct the first one in your report. I made the edit and it didn't make it into the final copy. I apologize, but the conditional use will actually run with the land. That's staff suggestion. It will not be tied to an applicant or an occupant. Condition 2, no alterations or additions to the existing fencing are allowed, though maintenance is permitted. Any new lighting installed shall conform to standards set forth in Article 1101 of the Conway Zoning Code. No expansions or additions to the structure or site are allowed, and any changes in use shall require a new or amended conditional use permit.
Thank you, Beth.
Can you repeat, Beth, the change for conditional use number 1 again? I'm so sorry.
Sure. I believe in the report, it indicates that the conditional use will actually be limited to the applicant or the current occupant, which is Mr. Greg Long, and that was an edit. It should run with the land. It will not be limited to an occupant.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. Do we have the applicant on the line to speak in favor of this request? Okay. And I don't believe we received any opposition via email or messages or phone calls to the planning department. So we can bring this back in the commission. We don't have any opposition. So commissioners, what say you?
Doesn't sound like there's anybody to ask any questions of, so I'll make an I just totally blanked out. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Was there anybody in opposition?
No.
No, okay.
So we've got a motion from Ann and a second from.
Letitia beat me to it.
All right. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? All right. Motion passes unanimously. We'll move to our last public hearing item for the evening. This is a request for annexation of the 26.9 acres south of Impey Trail. Mosquito.
Yes. So the applicant is seeking to annex about 27 acres located south of Impey Trail, and this property is immediately west of the Orchard Hills subdivision phase 1. The applicant is requesting the property to be zoned R1 upon annexation, and staff concurs with this requested zoning. The property was granted preliminary plat approval for a 21-lot single-family subdivision known as Orchard Hills Phase 2 at last month's meeting. Given the property's intended use as a single-family subdivision, it would likely generate approximately 247 vehicle trips per day. While sewer service is not available in the area, Conway Corporation does provide water service in the area. The fire department did express some concern regarding adequate fire flow to the area, and the applicant would be required to install improvements to resolve any such issues. The remaining reviewing agencies have no objections to the annexation. The annexation would result in a new residential development, which would be a valuable asset to the area.
Very good. Thank you. And I believe we have Mr. Shaw on the line. Mr. Shaw, do you have anything to add? I believe you're muted. We might be having some technical difficulty. Okay, I don't believe we're able to hear you, but I don't believe we had any opposition to this request either. So we can bring it back into commission. For
Okay,
discussion.
I'm here now.
There we go.
I had
All
the
right.
mute button on. I'm so sorry. Yeah, this is Orchard Hill Phase 2, and we're asking it to be annexed. It adjoins Phase 1, and then there will be a Phase 3 if it works out well. As far as the fire flow, we have engineered that with the Conway Corp, and we're going to do a large main extension from the White Tower on Round Mountain that should service not only this subdivision, but the rest of the west top of the mountain. So it's going to be a substantial main improvement, water main improvement. So to answer that question before it's asked and anything else, I'll be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Commissioners, do you have any questions for staff or for Mr. Shaw? Okay, and again, we didn't have any opposition to this request, so now we can bring it back in the commission for discussion. Any further discussion needed?
No, I see no problem with it.
I find it appropriate. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion from Ann and a second from Delencia. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Good luck with your development, Mr. Shaw.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Okay, now that we're done with our public hearings, only two items we have. Well, we have one item basically left this evening, which is our planning commissioner selection. As y'all know, we're running towards the end of 2 terms for both Delencia and Brooks. And so we'll be seeking 2 new positions. Those 5-year terms will expire in 2025. I believe we've had some advertisement that's been happening on Facebook, and we're looking into the Channel 5 advertisements as well. I would urge any commissioners who have anyone in mind to please make your nominations by the end of this month so we can start getting interviews and whatnot scheduled.
Do we have any idea if we've had any applicants so far?
Just one so far.
Okay.
As of today. Yeah.
Okay.
And we had some great applications last year as well. And I know a lot of those we encouraged to come back and apply again this year. So we may, if we don't have some coming in within the next week, we may reach back out to those folks and see if they're still interested. But I would definitely encourage you guys, if you have anyone, and also consider the citywide representation. We want to try to spread it out across the city. And I think currently we have 2 members from Ward 1, 1 member in Ward 2, 3 from Ward 3, and 2 members from Ward 4. So if we can get some more folks from, 1 or 2, Ward 1 or 2, I think that would be helpful. But any other discussion? And I'm happy to kind of head up this selection committee and interviewing again this year. And if anybody would like to help out with that, that'd be great.
Let me know what I can do. I'll be happy to help.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion for this evening?
Mr. Chairman, if there's no further discussion or items on the agenda, I make a motion to adjourn.
So moved. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.